I watched my naughty nephew throw $1 million contract into a boiling hot pot. But this time I didn't try to stop him. I simply sat there and waited for him to face the consequences of his own actions because I had been given a second chance at life. In my previous life, I had tried to stop him, but in anger, he threw the boiling hot pot straight at me. I was severely burned and rushed to the hospital. But my mother didn't care about me at all. Instead, she said, "You're his aunt. Why are you arguing with a little child?" After saying that, she happily left to buy candy for her beloved grandson. While I was lying in the hospital, my nephew's phone ran out of battery. He looked around, unplugged my ventilator without thinking, and plugged in his phone charger instead. As my breathing slowly stopped, I died filled with regret. The only thing I regretted was interfering in someone else's business. But God gave me another chance. Before I could even understand what was happening, my mother called me. That's when I realized I had returned to the exact same day. We all went out for hot pot. I immediately headed to the restaurant. I clearly remembered that in my previous life, my sister-in-law had deliberately allowed her son to order whatever he wanted, and in the end, I was forced to pay the entire bill. When I tried to stop them, boiling oil was thrown onto my face. So this time, I decided I would simply watch everything unfold. As soon as the food arrived, my nephew started causing trouble again. He picked up a bottle of soda and threw it toward another table. The sauce splashed all over an expensive suit worn by a wealthy businessman. Surprisingly, the man stayed calm. He simply asked them to pay for cleaning his suit. But my mother and sister-in-law immediately defended the child as usual. The argument between both sides kept getting worse while I quietly continued eating my meal. Meanwhile, the businessman didn't want to waste time because he had an important promotion meeting after lunch. So he went to the restroom to clean his suit. The moment he left, my nephew decided to get revenge. He picked up the businessman's phone and threw it straight into the boiling hot pot. I looked at my mother and sister-in-law and said, "You should stop your son." But when they saw him throwing the man's expensive watch into the hot pot as well, instead of stopping him, they actually clapped and praised him. My sister-in-law even mocked me and said, "You act so kind in front of strangers, but you're always trying to control your own family." I stayed completely silent, but that only made my nephew even bolder. He opened the businessman's bag, pulled out $1 million contract, and without thinking for even a second, threw it straight into the boiling hot pot. A few moments later, the businessman returned. The moment he saw his contract destroyed, his anger exploded. But my nephew wasn't scared at all. Instead, he proudly admitted that he had done everything himself. That was the final straw. The businessman immediately decided to call the police. Hearing that, my mother's face instantly turned pale. She quickly called my brother, crying, "Come here quickly. Someone is bullying your son." The moment my brother heard that, he left his promotion meeting and rushed straight to the restaurant. I already knew the real show was about to begin, because I remembered something from my previous life. That wealthy businessman was actually my brother's boss. Meanwhile, my sister-in-law still arrogantly said, "Just wait until my husband gets here. Then you'll know who you're dealing with." A few moments later, my brother arrived and shouted angrily, "Who dares to bully my son?" At the instant he looked at the businessman's face, the color drained from his own. If you love your life, then leave a like. If you want part 2, follow for more.